I'm Martin Hansen-Burma. I'm Manager of Marketing, Recruitment, Enrollment, and Retention for the Gerontology Department at UMass Boston. And with me is Ellen Burchander, and she is the Graduate Program Director for the Management of Aging Services program, and that includes both the MS degree and the Graduate Certificate in Gerontology. We're going to talk to you a little bit about the application process, what we're looking for in a successful applicant. We'll talk a little bit, just a brief overview about the programs, and you'll have a chance to ask us questions so we can talk a little bit more about what is this program all about a little bit later on. But we'll get right into the sort of nuts and bolts of the application stuff. If I can get my, there we go. Anyway, so both of these programs, the MS and the certificate, are fully online. The majority of our students are working professionals in the aging services field, so the program is designed to not only be very flexible and affordable for people who have, very busy lives, but also to provide skills and knowledge that people can put to use right away the very next day at work. The MS program consists of 12 courses, 9 required courses and 3 electives. The total cost comes in at about $20,000 for a master's degree, which I think you'll find is very affordable relative to most master's degree in this or any other field, really. It's possible to complete the program in 2 years. Most people go part-time, so it takes a little bit longer than that. It's designed, again, to be very flexible, so you might take one course one semester, 2 courses another semester. You might have to take a semester off. That's fine, no questions asked. Just go at your own pace. Technically, the university allows people 5 years to complete the program. Every now and then something happens, somebody needs longer. We can work with you to get a leave of absence, this kind of thing, so that you won't lose your place in the program. The certificate program, students choose any 5 courses from the master's curriculum. It is a good option for people who maybe want to take the next step in their career, but they need a credential on the resume that says that they have this specialized knowledge about aging. Some of our students come to us with a master's in another area and they want that specialization. Others don't have a master's yet, they've got a bachelor's, but they feel like that certificate is a good step. Maybe they're not really ready to commit to a full master's program. They want to get a little taste for it and get something that can help them sort of advance their career on the way. If you do that and you decide to go on later to the master's program, all the courses are completely compatible and will count towards the master's, and Ellen will work with you as your academic advisor to help you choose the courses that are right for you. The total cost for the certificate is around $9,000. Again, the cost per course is the same at $1,725, and it's possible, again, to complete it in as little as 2 terms if you went 3 and 2. Most people spread it out a little bit more than that, so you could do fall, spring, summer, or something like that, whatever works for you, and we'll work with you on that as well. We do encourage people to test drive courses before they actually join the program. You can do this whether you've applied or not. The university allows people to count up to 2 courses towards the degree when you do join. So if you wanted to start now and take a summer class while you're preparing your fall application, you can do that and then count the credits. I don't know of anybody who's ever taken courses and decided they didn't want to join the program, but that's always an option. And of course, I'm sure you're here because you know that this is one of the fastest growing fields around. The population is aging so rapidly, and so the opportunities are out there. We hear from people in the field, employers in the field all the time, that they really want to see more education in the workforce, and so we're trying to fill that niche. We've been doing this since 2003, so not only are we one of the first programs to cover this subject matter, we're also one of the first fully online graduate programs out there. So all of the courses have been built from the ground up as online courses. And of course, the aging services field is a very broad field covering a lot of different areas, and our graduates find work in a wide range of fields. So as you can see from the list, and if Ellen wants to elaborate on that at all, I'll give her the chance. Of course, you have questions later if you need to.
Yeah, I'm happy to address this or answer any questions. We have our graduates do some amazing things. We have a graduate who just got a $500,000 NIH grant to explore the benefits of technology and memory in cognitive decline or cognitive change in memory care. We have graduate students who have started their own businesses. They actually decided at the end of the program to start a business together, even though they had never really met in person and they didn't live in the same state. So I thought that was pretty fun. We have had graduates who run assisted livings or adult day health programs, councils on aging. They work in Massachusetts in aging services access points, which are single entry points for services for Massachusetts older people. And so they just do amazing things. They work in CCRCs. One is running a transportation program that covers several municipalities in a rural area and developing transportation for rural communities. We have people who work at state units on aging and work in retail or entertainment for older adults. So it's really, when we think about careers in aging, when I was young, you thought about working in a nursing home because that's pretty much all there was. But I've been doing this for many decades now, and I am ecstatic to say that a career in aging can encompass any discipline that you want. So it's pretty fun and exciting.
And I think, Ellen, you touched on something that's really special about the program as well, is the network that our students and graduates plug into through UMass Boston. We hear this all the time from our alums that the first person that they talk to, if they encounter a problem and they need advice, or they have a great idea and they want someone to help them get it off the ground, they're always calling their classmates, their instructors, people that they met through the Management of Aging Services program. So whether you wind up in the MS program or the certificate, it gives you access to that really important professional network.
It is surprising in an online program. I mean, we really make an effort to make it high touch and interactive, but I'm always surprised that in an online program, our alums keep in touch with each other and they keep in touch with us. You know, I wasn't that good with my graduate programs. I don't really keep in touch with too many people that I went to graduate school with. And so I'm really impressed with the connectivity that our students are able to develop and maintain.
Yeah, it's really fun to hear that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we're going to really focus on the application, the process, and the requirements in this presentation. I'm just going to give you the elements of the application here. There is the online application, which you'll log in, create an account, and fill it out. That is the part, I should tell you right now, that is the part that the deadline refers to. If you get your online application in, and things like your transcripts, letters of recommendation, sometimes those can trickle in after the deadline. Once your application is in, you've met the deadline. Some of those things, we even have cases where it can take a long time for things like transcripts especially, but we'll get into that more later. But I just wanted to point out that the deadline really refers to the online application, and there are some things that we realize applicants don't have a lot of control over. The other parts are the cover letter, the statement of purpose, which is the essay, the application essay, your transcripts, 2 letters of recommendation, your resume, just a brief, like a 1 or 2 page resume. The application fee is $60 for US residents or $100 for international applicants. We do not require a GRE. If you've already taken it, you're welcome to submit the scores. It won't have a big impact on your application. And you don't need to choose full or part-time status when you apply. You can change that at any time, just basically by how many classes you register for. And of course, as I said, it's possible to take semesters off if you need to. The application for deadline for the fall cycle, that's for fall 2021, is July 1st, and for spring, it's December 1st. So first, the online application is something you'll find that through the UMass Boston website. It's fairly self-explanatory. One thing that people do sometimes get a little hung up on is selecting the right program from the menus. You want to make sure that you've selected McCormick Graduate School, and then if you're going for the master's, make sure you select the Management of Aging Services track. We also offer a Research and Policy track, and every now and then people will wind up in the wrong bucket with that. If that happens, we can work with people to straighten it out and work with graduate admissions, but just to be aware when you do go in there to try to make sure that you select the right program there. You can upload all your documents right into the program. Look for, it's going to ask you for your statement of purpose. I believe it asks for statement of purpose and cover letter. You're going to want to look for additional documents or miscellaneous documents. I forget what the label is, but that's where you can put in things like your resume. You can also email everything to gadocs@umb.edu, and if it doesn't hurt to do that anyway as a backup. If you have any questions or you need any help navigating the application system, you can always contact Graduate Studies and Admissions, and their phone number is there on the screen, and the email address as well, graduate.admissions@umb.edu. Contact them anytime if you happen to have a different name on any of your materials, such as a maiden name on an older transcript, make sure you let them know and include your student ID number. If you see an error message at any point in the online application, make sure you let them know what you're seeing, and it helps if you can take a screenshot as soon as you see that and email them. One thing that I've heard of occasionally is the system won't accept a credit card payment for the application fee. If you see that, make sure you let them know right away so that they can sort that out and make sure your application is accepted. If for some reason you can't submit an online application, there is an option to send hard copy materials to this Philadelphia address on the screen. I don't think this is a big issue for most people applying to an online program, but occasionally it might be relevant for your transcripts or your letters of recommendation, and those can also be sent to that address and that email address. So you can let your people know about that. And the link at the bottom will take you to more just general info about applications from graduate studies. So your cover letter can just be it's a letter about 1 page. Tell us a little bit about who you are. Make sure you specify the program you're applying for and the semester. And you can talk a little bit about the things you're going to develop in your statement of purpose. So maybe just touch briefly on the high points of what brought you to this point, what makes you want to study aging, maybe your professional history. You don't have to go into great detail here, but just sort of maybe the main things that inspired you to study aging. The statement of purpose is a 3 or 4 page essay. This is the most powerful part of your application. This is our chance to get to know you, and this is your chance to present what you're passionate about, what really drives you to study aging, to work in the aging services field, to help older folks navigate life and society. Talk about your work history, talk about any personal experiences that you've had in aging. We have so many applicants who come from a different line of work and maybe had never considered gerontology until they had an experience maybe caring for a relative or something that happened in their own life. This is all relevant. Just because it's not something that happened at work or in school doesn't mean it doesn't belong in your essay. I would say that probably about 1/3 of our applicants fall into that category where they've maybe never worked in aging services, but something opened their eyes and made them decide that's what they wanted to do. And that's great. We certainly welcome people like that. Talk a little bit about your goals and how you learned about us and how you got to this point to make this decision to apply. And this is also a chance where you can talk about anything suppose something in your transcripts you had a gap in your employment history, or you had a gap in your school history, or your grades were not, up to where you wanted them to be. We understand that life is complicated, and sometimes people will have a hard semester. We don't want to turn away a qualified applicant because the GPA isn't up to, I think it says 3.0 now on the university website. That is not a hard and fast rule. We want a chance to consider your application. So if you feel like there's something in your past that warrants mentioning in your essay, this is a chance to do it. You don't have to go into excruciating detail, just a sentence saying, 2002 was a rough year. I couldn't focus on my studies, etc.
My junior year of college was a blast, but I don't remember too much of it. I smartened up in my senior year. Those kinds of things are fine. It was 30 years ago,
Exactly. I know that I have stuff like that in my past, and I'm sure most of us do. And we've all been there. We're all understanding that a lot of our students are people who are kind of in their second act, and this is something that we want to know about you. And you certainly won't be
that's
found.
really, sorry, Martin.
No, go
One
ahead.
thing that's really important is we want to hear why you're passionate about working with older adults. Is the passion there? Is this something that you're committed to? Can you make a difference? What is it that you can bring to the program, and what is it that you want from the program? What do you want to do? Why is this important to you?
Transcripts should be pretty straightforward, although sometimes dealing with various colleges, things can get a little strange. It, for the most part, is not something that you're going to have to worry about. You just put the colleges that you've attended in when you're doing the online application, and it should send a request directly to them. We have heard, especially during COVID, more cases where some colleges don't have access to older transcripts, or maybe they have to send somebody into the archives for a hard copy and there's nobody in the office except for once a week or something like that. So we have been seeing some delays with that. We've worked with everybody who's had a situation like that and been able to resolve it successfully. I don't want to scare anybody with this. It can be kind of a headache, but we always work it out, and we work very closely with you and with graduate admissions to make sure that we recover all of those things. Most colleges now send everything electronically. A few will send hard copies, and in that case, use that Philadelphia address that I showed earlier, which is also available on our website. You can also, we encourage people, if you have an unofficial transcript, to send that to gadocs@umb.edu. That gives us something to start reviewing. We can start reviewing the application even if the official transcript isn't in yet. And sometimes people will be accepted based on their unofficial transcript, and we just ask that you would send the official one, or ask the university to send the official one by the end of your first semester in the program, is how that works. So we've never had to turn anybody away based on that. So anyway, it's always a good, that's kind of the takeaway should be, back yourself up by emailing things to gadocs@umb.edu. The letters of recommendation, 2 are required. They can come from a supervisor at work, from an instructor in college, but it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to have anything to do with a person's job title, actually. It can be anyone that you feel is able to best testify about who you are, what motivates you, what skills and talents have you brought to your work or to your studies, and what are you bringing to the field of aging services. You decide who you think is best to speak to your skills. That's not up to us to decide. The way it works is, when you're filling in the application, the online application, you just enter your name and email address of your referrer, and it generates an email with a link for them to submit their letter. It's always a good idea to let them know to expect that. and to let them know that even if they don't see it, they can submit an email, submit the letter by email to gadocs@umb.edu. It's the graduate admissions requires that the letter come directly from the referrer. So if you happen to have a copy of it, you can submit it, and that can, if occasionally that could help us start reviewing your application, but it's still required that we get the original from the referrer directly, whether it comes through the system or through that email address. Your resume is really just supposed to be kind of a bird's eye view of your work history. 1 to 2 pages should be plenty. You don't need to go into detail of every duty you had in every job. In fact, you could, you could skip the summer you spent driving the ice cream truck probably, although, it could be relevant. Don't count it out. You can, if there are things that in your work history, there may be sort of semi-relevant, but you don't need to go into detail in your statement of purpose. You might leave them in the resume, but really the statement of purpose is where you're going to talk about the most important experiences that you had in your work history, not so much on your resume. So just the boiled down version. So what can you expect after you've applied? Graduate Studies and Admissions, they process all the applications to make sure everything is there. You can always check on the status by logging back into the system, and the link is there on the screen right now. You can also contact Graduate Admissions if you have any questions, if something doesn't look right, if something seems to be missing but you're sure it got sent, let them know, let us know as well. We can always sort of help you navigate that, help you connect with the right people in admissions, push the process along. They do get very busy. Just be patient. Know that during the last few weeks of the application period, they're often swamped. If it seems like you're having a hard time getting a response, let us know. We'll make sure it gets to the attention of the right person and get an answer. And if there's an issue, help work through it. We've had a lot of success with this kind of thing. Not that there are a lot of problems, but it can be confusing from both sides sometimes. And so I feel like we do pretty well working with them. We have a good relationship. After Graduate Studies and Admissions goes through the application and compiles everything, make sure it's all there. They send it along to the department. The admissions committee is Ellen and the department chair. They actually, if we know your application is coming, we can actually request that we get early access to the materials and start looking it over. Sometimes that helps when it's the most busy period of the application cycle. After the department has reviewed the application and made a recommendation on admission, you will receive a formal letter through Graduate Studies telling you the decision. And the sooner you get your application in, of course, the sooner you will hear back. I think that's about it as far as that goes. Is there anything you wanted to add about the review or anything, Ellen?
With COVID, I have to say it's taking longer than it used to. So feel free to contact us and we can chase things. And I apologize for that, but it's just, I think transcripts have been a lot slower and everybody's working from home. So it's, they don't always have access to everything they need.
The mail has been tricky too at times.
Yeah. So I appreciate your patience and your understanding, and just keep in touch with us, and we'll keep plugging along until we get everything together and have what we need.
I'd say that's the headline here, is that we're here to help, so don't be shy about contacting us.
Right.
Ah, there you go.
There we go.
That was the headline. So yeah, really anytime you can contact us by phone or email. We work directly with graduate admissions all the time. They're very used to hearing from us. as I said, Ellen is one of the people who will be reviewing your application. So you can always ask her questions either now or follow up with her by email, or you can schedule a phone consultation with her using that Calendly link there. That's also on our website so you don't feel like you need to scramble to write that down if you didn't. And just keep in mind that we really want the chance to accept you. And we're happy to work with you during the application process. So don't be shy about asking for our help. If you're uncertain, that if you feel like maybe something isn't quite, you don't have all the pieces there, give us a chance to see it. Let us see your application. Let us talk with you. We can talk with you about your goals and your career history and your academic history and your aspirations, and help you figure out what's the best fit for you. So that's really the most important thing about this.